Hi, welcome back to The King of the Things by Adrian Beckingham. I'm really enjoying reading this. It's nice to feel connected to some of you guys that I'm not able to see in person at the moment, and to be connected to people around the world. Sending you all lots of love for this time, and happy Mother's Day. So I'm about to read chapter 8, The King of the Things. It's getting quite tense at the moment. Oh, very important question. Are you sitting comfortably? Sorry, what was that?
Yes, very, very comfortably. I want to hear more.
All right, then we'll begin. Many have asked, what does the King of the Things look like? Well, I shall try my best. But you see, it really is quite impossible. You see, he just kept on shifting. I don't mean shifting like you might shift, by twitching your foot and adjusting your back and tapping your fingers. No, the King of the Things, he really shifted. For example, your torso, as you may know, is that part of your body with your head at the top, with your arms either side and two legs probably sprouting out from the bottom. When Hunch first glimpsed him, the King of the Things' torso was attached to 4 legs, and no arms, but 6 huge eyes bobbing around like corks. He looked something like an enormous brain, all crinkly and round, with 3 huge round nostrils dripping yellow wax into the forest floor. Ugh. But then, suddenly, he didn't look like that at all. But instead, he looked rather like a dangerously beautiful kind of man-eating flower. In a ghastly sort of way. Then, quick as a flash, he grew what looked like duck's feet, except they were growing from a place which his ears would have been. If it were you, one moment, he had 100 eyes all blinking along the length of 12 arms. Eyelashes fluttered and glowed brightly as a butterfly's wings as he waved those arms about. And what looked like a tiger's tail appeared on the top of his head, except his head was now growing where you have your belly, and a dandelion in full bloom sprouted where you would have your face, until it blew off its tiny storm of white seeds like dandelions too in a gust of wind. He had claws where you have your knees, and then no claws at all. Suddenly he had 8 arms, really long ones, corded with muscle. Sharp pointed turrets of bone, something like rhinoceros horns, sprouted their way along each arm. His arms grew out from the side of his legs, but then everything changed again. Yes, what exactly did the King of the Things look like? You tell me. In fact, if you happen to be brave enough, we'll leave the whole blank page at the end of this book for you to write it down if you dare, or draw a picture, or maybe even both. What did they did that? Oh yeah, we're going to do that. No way, 4 blank pages. Poor Hunch found the King of the Things most unpleasant and horrifying to look at. He was suddenly rather pleased his parents were not there, for fear of having to carry them all the way back through the forest after they had fainted. Hunch pulled himself back into the hole below the tree. He thought it would be better to stay hidden in there throughout the night, but in a voice that sounded something like an elephant's trumpet, mixed with a lion's roar, with a little bit of meerkat bark thrown in, the King of the Things said, "Aha, Sammy say, don't you hide away? We see you in there, now come out and show yourself, or we may have to eat you for being so rude." Hunch felt like pretending he had not heard, or that he thought the king was speaking to someone else. After all, he was not called Sammy Say. But he knew the king of the things was talking to him. Hunch peered at the strange gathering of things that yammered and howled, growled and garumbled upon the rough circle of fallen trunks around him. Hunch guessed they would eat him as soon as they could, if only their king allowed it. Some of the things had sharp, curved claws that gleamed in the moonlight. Others had enormous pincers or poison dripping from their wings. Hunch decided he had better do exactly as he was told, so he pulled himself right out from the tree, dragging his walking staff behind him. He stood there, wide-eyed and quaking, as he beheld the terrible king of the things right there in front of him. "Ha ha!" roared the king in merry mirth, and all the things around their circle echoed him. "Ha ha!" they called. Hunch wished his knees would stop knocking from the sheer fright of the sight of them. "You, Sammy Say, make me laugh. No imagination, none," the king roared. "None, none!" hissed and hallooed the others. The hunchback quivered. He had better be polite. He bent himself as low as he could and did a little bow. The king's nose spread wide in a large smile, his nostrils brimming with fangs. "Now, Sammy Say, what's your question?" "Every Sammy Say has one." And with that, the king of the things stuck one long tongue from his enormous toothed nose, which happened in that moment to be the whole of his bloated body, and licked all three nostrils. Ah! All the things followed suit, even though some of them had more tongues or less, or longer or shorter, and in different places than the king himself. A few of them shook or rattled the bones they had been using as drumsticks, and Hunch wondered if he was quite sure none of those bones were human after all. A question! The poor hunchback could not think of one. What do you ask the king of the terrible things, high up on a hilltop, in the middle of a forest, all alone, under the light of the full moon, without being eaten? Hunch's brain whirled and squeezed, juicing one tiny drop of imagination out of his terror-frozen mind. Well, your Majesty, why do you call me Sammy Say?" At that, half the things fell backwards off their logs, laughing. Well, while the other half fell forward and laughed all the more. They tumbled about, buffooing and chaboolering merrily. The king himself floated up in the air, using his tiny weeny rows of wings that now grew from his tongue, and grinned broadly with his elbows. "Why, Sammy Say? For that is what you are. You Sammy Says that live in the barns and the cottages, out in your village and towns, you are all the same. One head on top, 2 ears either side, 1 eye, 2 eyes out front, above your nose, above 1 mouth, above 1 chin, 1 neck, above 1 chest, 2 shoulders, an arm attached each side, 1 elbow in the middle, hands on the end of your 4 fingers and 1 thumb, 2 legs, 2 knees, 2 feet, 10 toes, all down the bottom, ordered and accounted for. I say you must all like it. You all do it. You are all the same." The king of the things suddenly lowered gently onto his log and turned into the quivering cluster of feathers. With sharp spikes like a porcupine sticking through. Nothing wrong with being the same, the king of the things said, and nothing wrong with being different. Everyone is different to us. Even we are. Ah, there is no better or worse, just different, you see? But how could you? How could you? You're a semisay. That's the end of chapter 8. Hope you're enjoying it. See you soon for chapter 9. That's love.
Thank you.